Good morning, everybody. My name is Chris Claus, and I'm one of the co-owners of the Cross and the Crescent discussion group. And I will be putting our link in the description for our YouTube page and also our website. So I've wanted to start doing videos for the longest time, and what I want to do is I want to start refuting Islamic arguments. So I'll be going through debates and different videos that Muslims upload and explaining why they're not very good arguments and trying to help Christians refute some of those assertions. But this video today, it has to do with an ex-Christian revert to Islam. His name is Abu Yazid. He used to go by the name of C.L. Edwards. Now, C.L. Edwards has reverted back to Islam and has been doing a lot of interviews lately and explaining his conversion back to Islam. So what I did is I went through and I seen some of the contradictory things that he was saying during these interviews, and I've compiled them and I've put them into this video. So what we're going to see is we're going to see C.L. Edwards saying one thing and then saying another. So what I'll do is I'll come in at the end of the video and I'll explain what we've seen and explain why people like C.L. Edwards have to do this when they're ex-Christian. Thank you very much.
This, these years now, just seeking the truth. I was raised in a Christian home, a Christian background. I'm African American. My family came from the deep South. They were very involved. They were founding members of a particular denomination called the Baptist Missionary
Okay.
denomination. And they started churches after not World War One, but the Civil War, and they became free. The first thing they did was establish a community, and the first thing they established in a community was a church. So spirituality, religion was extremely important in my household.
That's
This is the late 90s, early 2000s. I had to be around like maybe 21, 22, something like that, early 20s. And, most of my friends at the time in the neighborhood I grew up in, we all went to Detroit public schools, which are known to be a little rough around the edges. In the inner city, basically, people were into either hanging out, chasing girls, or in a illegal lifestyle, selling drugs. And I have to admit, to be honest, before Islam, I was into those same things. I was about, smoking weed and blunts and drinking 40s and chasing girls. And I even had my own pharmaceutical business. But yeah, just for the sake of I want to be honest with you. I was an alcoholic. I was addicted to marijuana. I came from a family of alcoholics and drug addicts. I had 3 different uncles, all overdosed on heroin.
lost.
3 uncles who overdosed on heroin. My father used crack cocaine during my teen years. So it basically nullified whatever guidance he would have gave me as a
Right.
teenager because he was
about was you mentioned how when it was known that you had left Islam, how you seem to be getting now a lot of invitations from the ABN and the Christians and missionaries and all that stuff like that. And I've talked about this on many of my shows, how it seems like there's a big market for that. There's a big market for the ex-Muslim. There's a big market for the for the Arab who doesn't like the Muslims or doesn't like the Arab Muslims. Like there's this market for the anti-Islamic agenda, and they seem like they give people who leave Islam or who says they're ex-Muslim or whatever, or if you're from the Middle East and you're not a Muslim and you don't like the Muslims, you don't like the Arabs or whatever, there seems to be like a market for that. You know what I mean? And you seem to get book deals and like I said, they're already having you on ABN, and you just it wasn't too long after you left already. What have you seen being on that side? Is there any truth to that? Do you see that there seems to be a big market, or a big I don't know what's the right word I'm looking for, but yeah, like a big market for, or do they have is there a setup for that where they're willing to give the person who says they're an ex-Muslim or who doesn't like Islam, there's a big push behind that, or big behind the scenes organization that's pushing that.
Oh, most definitely. Oh, most definitely. Um, I don't even see how somebody could deny that, actually. I mean, look at all the different so-called ex-Muslims that have been trotted out over the last 10. Well, I sent the email to ABN after I became Christian, and basically saying I've been watching Jesus and Muhammad. I've been watching David Wood and Sam Shimon, and I wanted you guys to know that I've left Islam and I've become Christian. Somebody from the network passed it along to David.
All right, so what we've just listened to is we just heard C.L. Edwards talk about the Christian upbringing and his Christian roots that he had had. And then we heard him say that he was a drunkard, that he was a druggie, and that three of his uncles had passed away from heroin overdose, which again, I'm not trying to bring up to try to discredit the man by any means. But this just shows that he was not raised in a Christian family. It looks like he was raised in a family of crime. And I would not consider being raised in a family of crime being raised a Christian. So just because one lives in the United States does not automatically make them Christian. It's what they do in their life and what they actually believe in that makes them Christian or not. And then the second clip is probably the most disturbing clip that I could have probably showed. In that it shows Shadid Lewis, Akil Anqua, and C.L. Edwards discussing how ABN and other Christian organizations prey upon the ex-Muslim and try to pay them and bring them to the forefront to try to promote them against Islam. And you could hear C.L. Edwards actually agreed to it. He's like, yeah, I don't know how anybody could disagree with that. But then in another clip that he talked about in another piece on Fareed's show, we actually found out what happened when he became an ex-Muslim with ABN. C.L. Edwards actually had to send an email to ABN and ask them if he could be on their show. So it's not like ABN and other Christian organizations were seeking out C.L. Edwards to bring him up onto the shows that they were having. C.L. Edwards was seeking these people so that he could tell his story. There's a complete difference between an organization seeking out ex-Muslims and promoting them against Islam and ex-Muslims seeking out these organizations so they can speak against Islam. Thank you very much. And if you've liked the video, hit the like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. Thank you very much, and God bless.